In June of 2025, I took my 3 kids hiking on the Tahoe Rim Trail. We were doing our second section. This was from Brockway to the Mount Rose Highway. 4 of us this time, me and my 3 kids. At the time they were 11, 13, and 18. We decided to do this trip over the course of 3 days. The first day was a tough first day, 7 miles, but it was going to get most of the uphill out of the way. The second day was 10 miles, but I figured with most of the uphill out of the way, that should be pretty doable. Leaving the third day to just be about 3 miles. Mugshot was picking us up in the morning of the third day with donuts in hand. So the plan was to wake up, knock out the 3 miles that third day, and go get our donuts. The Tahoe Rim Trail heads uphill steadily for the first 5 or 7 miles. We ended up camping 7 miles in at a spot that was near the California-Nevada border. And I was even able to fill up some water from the snow that was melting right there. The plan was to hike to this creek called Reliable Creek, where we were going to fill up on some water. It was the only water source that we were going to come across that day. So the plan was to hike out to Reliable Spring, fill up with as much water as we can, and then make our way to the campsite where there was going to be more water. The campsite was supposed to be near Galena Falls. We headed out in the morning, and fortunately we were able to find the California-Nevada sign area. There was some water sources nearby, but they were off trail. One that you could see that is not recommended, and then another one that I heard about, but I didn't go visit. We were on our way to Reliable Spring. When we got out there, there was a PCT hiker out there out by Reliable Spring and gathering some water. We actually ran into a couple of more PCT hikers and asked them why they were in the area, and there was just too much snow for them on the PCT, so they were sort of waiting for snow to melt. The PCT hikers went on their way. We gathered our water and we started after them. It was a pretty quiet day on the trail, but there was people headed in the same direction that we were headed in, so it seemed like it was a safe time to be on the trail. But it did have sections that were covered in snow. There was a lot of snow that year, and in the areas that had, either a lot of tree cover or just general shade from the topography, those areas still had quite a bit of snow. So we did run into an area that was extremely steep and was just a giant snowfield. And all we had was our poles. Fortunately, everybody had their poles. And so I took my time kicking in as solid a steps as I could. So my 13-year-old actually ended up losing his traction and slipping. I wouldn't say he was slipping down the hill. He ended up catching himself. It was a good save. But it was definitely the type of conditions that made me wonder if it was a smart choice to be out there. Looking back on it, I wish that I took additional precautions, maybe picking up some micro spikes or something for the kids. I'll say that they were definitely freaked out a little bit by the snow, as was I, and they had to push and they had to dig within to get across, but they definitely did that. The kids kind of thought we were done, as it seemed so dramatic. But we were not done, and we had another section to go up, and when we got to the top of that section, the trail was once again covered in snow. This time we were able to go around the snow, so it was a little bit easier, although we were going up Relay Peak, which is the tallest point on the Tahoe Rim Trail at about 10,300 feet. So it wasn't easy as we were going up, although we were able to follow a trail for the most part. The elevation definitely made it relatively difficult. Once you get to the top, you hike along the ridge for about another mile, and that section was covered in snow as well. So a section that I thought we would move across relatively quickly, but because of the snow, it actually took a little bit of time. Fortunately, we were able to find some water on our way down, so we actually didn't need to go to Galena Falls, and we pulled up a little short of that. And then the kids and I woke up in the morning and made our way to Galena Falls. We didn't really have water issues as we were able to fill up at the end of the day before, so we just topped off and headed out. That last day was a relatively short hike, and the kids were happy to be done early. Mugshot met us and picked us up at the end and gave us donuts and sodas. With that, the second section was done. We were looking forward to the third section. Mugshot and Turtle would be joining us on the third section, starting at Mount Rose, going to the Spooner Summit. This was the longest section of the Tahoe Rim Trail that we had done so far, and we were going to take 4 days to do it.